Welcome, family, to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. Thank you for tuning in to our global network. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share this video podcast with your friends. We ask that you do this because we want others to know we're here. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. In order to follow along with my presentation, I strongly recommend everyone on my Facebook friends list to please exchange emails with me so that I can email you everything I do online. Also, I would like for my listeners to follow me on my Medium page. This is where I post my actual speech. I also provide all of my sources under Show and Prove. I recommend that you watch the video clips I provide to fully understand what's happening in America. Purpose: to educate Black people, African people, and others who are serious about solving Black issues in America, solving African issues on the continent and throughout the diaspora, as well as to raise funds for our film project, Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and ordinary law-abiding citizens, an opportunity to share their special talents and skills to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcasts and YouTube channels to help them earn extra revenue during COVID-19. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships and grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. I'm calling on all of my Christian group members in Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network to pray that God would connect me with people who have the means to support our film project. Pray that my revised book would get on the bestsellers list. Pray that the Spirit of God would allow our film project to get fully funded and made. In Jesus, Yahshua's name. I am encouraging all of my group members to do what you can to help us reach our goals so that we can move from behind a computer, starting with getting our story on the big screen and getting our Christian business up and running in Chicago. It's my hope that the Lord would connect me with people who have the means to support our film project. I'm doing all I can on my part to get our urban Christian film fully funded and made. Please continue to pray over my film project that the Lord would bless me to get this film fully funded and made so that I can move to the next level. That is, the proceeds generated from the film will put me in a better position financially so that I can hire qualified Black middle class professionals, buy office equipment, and purchase property in Chicago. We plan on hosting monthly virtual conferences on Facebook Live. If you would like to be part of our panel, then send me a message to my Facebook inbox and we can discuss the details and practice ahead of time so that we can put on a good show for our audience. I want to use this conference to interact with our viewers as well as help raise funds for our film project. We will be using a spiritual perspective as it pertains to each topic. It's my hope that to have at least 4 people on the panel before we open the discussion for Q&A. Out of 1,554 people on my Facebook friends list, only 3 people have contributed to our film project so far. That's not cool, and that's not fair. How long will this take for us to raise the capital to get this film project in production? The answer, I don't know. The burden is on the black grassroots and the global African family. Please consider supporting our film project in 4 ways. They are as follows. 1, through our GoFundMe page. I post our GoFundMe page link in the comment section below this video podcast. I am not running for public office. I am on a shoestring budget. I am unable to travel around the country, but if you are serious about meeting me in person, then come to Chicago. I recommend that you purchase my revised book and read my story first. Send me a friend request on Facebook and text me your email address so that I can make arrangements to meet you and others at Harold Washington Library. Then I will answer your questions in person. 2, you can also support our film project by purchasing my revised book, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, 2nd edition, which is available on my Amazon author page. I provide each website on my Medium transcript under Show and Prove. You can also find each website on my YouTube channel under About. 3, through our virtual store, Cam Online. We provide merchandise such as COVID masks, coffee mugs, posters, handbags, and t-shirts. All proceeds will go towards our film project. 4, through our PayPal page. Rakai of Chicago, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago, is a faith-based community advocacy organization. Our mission, to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African and Caribbean tours. Donations can be used as a tax write-off for U.S. citizens because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organization. If you are unable to participate on the show, no worries. When you have a moment, please watch our latest video podcast or listen to our audio podcast and leave a public comment in the comment section on my YouTube page and on my Facebook page about the topic. Most of all, please share my information with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's topic of discussion is as follows. History of Roe versus Wade. America is the new Egypt. Separating ourselves from degenerates. Black America is not interested in solutions. And building a 21st century coalition between Black America and the global African family through GRACAM. Our first topic, history of Roe versus Wade. Abortion is about population control and having sex without consequences. This topic is very complicated and very sensitive. From what I understand, the federal government decided that they are going to let each state decide if abortion will be legal or not. Roe versus Wade came about out of a racist lie. Today we're going to talk about Roe versus Wade. I believe that intelligent black people have a right to be informed. I read about Norma McCorvey, the woman behind Roe versus Wade. I will give you the short version. To learn more about her story, just go to my Medium transcript and scroll down to Show and Prove. At this time, all I can do is share my knowledge with you until we're able to get our film project fully funded and made. Then the proceeds from the film will allow me to be in a better position financially to hire qualified black middle class professionals who will make sure that this business will be effective and successful. Mainstream media do not give you the facts. Instead, they want to tell you what to think. There is an undeniable racist origin in this whole Planned Parenthood agenda. You have black women reciting white women's talking points during the BET Awards. Norma McCorvey, whole story was built around falsely accusing black men of sexually violating her. Norma McCorvey became a career criminal at age 10. She was allegedly raped by a family member. She got married when she turned 16. She had marital issues and ended up moving back in with her mother. She later ended up becoming an alcoholic and a drug abuser. In Grassroots of Chicago, we will have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to alcohol and drugs. Drugs have been the number one issue to ruin black families and the black community. Her first child was taken by her mother. Her second child was given up for adoption. Norma McCorvey became pregnant a third time. Her peers advised her to claim she was gang raped by black men so that she could receive an abortion under Texas law. There was no evidence that she was raped by black men. Down the road, she admitted she lied. Her doctor suggested that she meet with Henry McClurry, who was an adoption lawyer in Dallas. She met Henry McClurry, who preferred her to an attorney, Linda Coffey and Sarah Weddington. They were not concerned about her or adoption. They were only interested in pushing an agenda, and that was to get abortion legalized nationwide. On June 24, 2022, the Supreme Court overruled Roe versus Wade on the grounds that abortion is not a constitutional right, nor considered a right when the Due Process Clause was ratified in 1868. This view was disputed by some law historians and criticized by the dissenting opinion, which held that many 21st century rights that are taken for granted, such as contraception, interracial marriage, and same-sex marriage, did not exist when the Due Process Clause was ratified in 1868. The decision was supported and opposed by the anti-abortion and abortion rights movement in the United States. We don't have the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments of the Constitution of the United States protecting black people. It clearly spells out what our rights are supposed to be. How does Roe versus Wade help us get reparations? I found a tweet by Joe Biden. I posted it on my Medium transcript. I encourage my listeners to pull it up and listen to it. We are the only group of people in America with a legitimate grievance that the American government owes a debt to. I believe black women have been used as a tool to push the liberal agenda. You are not created to promote other people's agendas. I discussed this in my revised book. The financial elite set up abortion clinics throughout the black community while creating fertility clinics in the white community. Roe versus Wade goes back to eugenics, which targeted black people. The courts overturning Roe versus Wade have nothing to do with saving black babies. This is a Becky's fight. Black people as a collective do not support abortion. We're not going to get into a stupid discussion about when life begins. That's basic biology. These off-code Negroes like Roland Martin, who belongs to these democratic organizations, are bought and paid for. They are the ones who's promoting pro-choice. Roland Martin is telling black people, Roe versus Wade is a reason why black people need to show up at the polls in significant numbers on election day. Nothing about reparations. Black people are getting used by career politicians just to keep them in office, while they are taking the black vote for granted. On the economic side, the public school system prepares our children to work for these companies who don't want to pay their employees a living wage. This is why the workers protest. The prison industrial complex need criminals to fill prisons so that they can make money from inmates making phone calls, putting money on the books. There is a fee for that. Private companies use cheap prison labor because they don't have to pay prisoners minimum wage nor pay for health care. I am not making these video podcasts for my health. I'm here as a concerned black man trying to build something productive in the black community that the community can be a part of and the global African family. I found an article from NBC News entitled, quote, "Black leaders aren't surprised Roe is at risk, but they're prepared for the aftermath," unquote. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced the Justice for All pledge, $500,000 to help residents and people seeking abortion in neighboring states. Quote, that have a ultimate will ban abortion if the Supreme Court decides to strike down Roe versus Wade as outlined in the leaked decision, unquote. We have black community organizations that need funding, but our elected officials are using our tax dollars towards a hidden agenda. I'm not saying Roe versus Wade does not matter because black babies will always matter, but supporting Roe versus Wade, that ain't our fight. I found an article from the New York Times entitled, quote, "These companies will cover travel expenses for employees' abortions," unquote. This is a clear definition of an anti-black agenda. When you see major corporations backing these agendas, then you know it's not a good thing. They won't give their employees a pay increase, but they are more than willing to pay for a medical procedure to destroy a woman's sacred ability to give life. It's not accidental. It's all part of the plan. I'm not neutral about society trying to control and decimate our numbers in America. This ain't about you. This ain't about you do you. Once you become pregnant, then your body is not just yours, it's also part of your unborn child. Anybody trying to make an argument about destroying the next generation, then you and David Duke have something in common. Me and Margaret Sanger would never be on the same team. I believe that this generation is the one that's going to change the world as we know it. We're not going to be that dependable political flunkies like the civil rights generation. Do you really think anyone is going to care about Roe versus Wade in November? The Biden administration has failed to lower food and gas prices. They failed to keep baby formula on the shelves, but have billions of American tax dollars to help Ukrainians. The Democrats are expecting black people to save their political party once again. Hopefully enough young black voters will sit it out. Our issue is reparation for DAS, descendants of American slaves, and B, black economic empowerment. As I mentioned in my revised book, the sexual revolution started in the 60s. Black women alone have aborted between 20 to 30 million black babies. Michelle Obama said people don't have the luxury to sit out the election. Her and her husband sat there and watched the slaughter of black people. His administration did not prosecute any road cops. Dylan Roof was the only person who was punished for after he killed 9 black people. Daniel Fatalio is still walking the streets. Darren Wilson is still walking the streets. And George Zimmerman is still walking the streets. Michelle is trying to fool the public into thinking she really cares about black America. Senator John Cornery from Texas said, what's next? Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus Board of Education. In other words, bringing back segregation in public schools. And it's already like that anyway, technically. Things are going to get worse in America, especially for black Americans. Clarence Thomas said, the next thing they're looking to overturn is gay marriage. Please leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, America is the new Egypt. This wicked system in America is based on white supremacy before the Constitution was written. For me, America is the new Egypt. Look at the back of the American $1 bill. You will see an image of a pyramid and an open eye. Then there is the Washington Monument. These are all ancient Egyptian symbols. Black Americans think that we're going to inherit America. That's not the case. God has never given his people a wicked land. He always told his prophets that he was going to bring judgment and for his spokesperson to gather the people who's willing to listen and obey his word to relocate elsewhere. For example, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. One of the most prevalent sins in Sodom was the homosexuality of the men, engaging in sexual relations with the other men and boys. Sodom is where we get the terms sodomy and sodomites, named after this widespread sin of the town. After the angels entered the home of Lot, the men of the city surrounded Lot's house. According to Genesis chapter 19, verse 5, quote, they called to Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. Unquote. Lot pleaded with the crowd to reconsider, even offering his 2 virgin daughters in place of the 2 visiting men, whose angelic identity was apparently unknown to the lustful sodomites. Genesis chapter 19, verse 9. As the crowd moved to break down the door, the men inside pulled Lot back inside and shut the door. As Genesis chapter 19, verses 11 through 13 states, quote, then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. The burning of Sodom and Gomorrah. After Lot is unable to convince his son-in-law to leave the city, he fled Sodom with his wife and 2 daughters, encouraged by the 2 angels that the Lord will look after them. The angels first tell Lot to flee to the mountains, but Lot requests that his family go to a nearby city named Zorah to ensure their survival. The Bible describes the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis chapter 19, verse 23 through 29. Now, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah serves as a lesson of the consequences of sin and the wrath of God. In contrast, look at the Egyptian situation. The slaves received reparations and Egypt was destroyed. Egypt is not what it was thousands of years ago. Invaders are on the land today. Those Arabs that's in Egypt now are not the original Egyptians. All those Arabs in North Africa from Algeria, Egypt, Liberia, Morocco, and Sudan, those are all invaders. If you knew African history, you would never call an Arab an African. We see all this anti-African racism that is happening in a lot of these African nations where Arabs are in control. Keep in mind, the Arabs were the first to enslave Africans before the Europeans. I provide information about the Arab slave trade on my Medium transcript under Show and Prove. Black Americans that are practicing Islam do not want to discuss this topic. The Arab slave trade began in East Africa because Africa was known to have the most diamonds, gold, and minerals on earth. As I mentioned in my revised book, in 1886, European nations had a secret meeting called the Berlin Conference, which was about creating artificial borders on the African continent for their benefit. These countries controlled by European colonial powers are as follows: Belgium, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. Africa needs to push for reparations from your former colonizers. The majority of the natural resources have been stolen by Europeans. This is why Africa is in the condition it is today. This is why I am reaching out to the global African family so that we can form an alliance. That's our best way for black people globally to survive. We're having a hard time here in America, whether it's systematic racism, black on black crime, victims of domestic terrorism, or being killed by racist road cops. If black America continues to ignore my vision and plan, then by 2050 our racial group as a collective will end up becoming a permanent underclass in America. It does not have to end up this way. That's why I'm fighting as hard as I can to get our film project fully funded and made so that we can move Gracam from behind the computer into the black community and on the African continent. From a spiritual perspective, please read the following scriptures. Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 11 through 16. Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 through 14. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 68. Exodus chapter 4, verses 29. And chapter 6, verses 1 through 6. Joel chapter 3, verses 1. Please leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic, separating ourselves from degenerates. The increased violent crime among black people is all by design. As I said many times before, we have to deal with this Willie Lynch mentality within black society before we lose another generation to senseless violence. The killing of our youth means there's no future for black people in this country. This pipe dream that the West is the best is not true. Black Americans are having a very hard time in this country. If it's not systematic racism, black on black crime, urban terrorism, domestic terrorism, or being killed by racist road cops, this is no way to live. Groups like ADOS, American descendants of slavery, are using black immigrants as an scapegoat to compete with them for resources from massa. The grassroots community activist movement welcomed black immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean over here and on this platform. Black immigrants come to the United States of America because America is currently the economic hub. When immigrants come to a country, they are here to attend college or work to earn money, to earn more money to send back to their families. They understand if they get involved with radical issues, they could end up being deported. If Black America don't innovate ourselves out of our social conditions, then our children won't have a chance to compete against these other groups coming here. The financial elites know that Black Americans are divided because they divided us based on social class, religion, and political affiliation. The financial elites have allowed illegal immigrants, Afghan refugees, Ukrainian refugees, Asians, white women, and LGBT to leap over us because they all have received resources and protection under the Biden administration. A majority of Black Americans are full of Willie Lynch. They vote against our interests. Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization and unification. We don't value working together. We don't have a culture where we promote becoming better people. That's why Grecaio Chicago is needed in the Black community. This is not business as usual. This is personal. At this time, I am the business. I am the grassroots community activist movement. I'm calling upon all of my group members to help me turn my vision and plan into a reality by donating to our film project on our GoFundMe page below this video podcast in the comment section. Those who will come forth and work with me and Sister Renee on our film project will go down in history because we will mention your name in the credits. It is my responsibility to show love to my people wherever I find them. The world's resources are becoming depleted. Capitalism can only survive when there is a lower class. The lower class in America has always been Black people. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago objective is to strengthen the Black family while improving the Black community. Under my leadership, we will raise the bar in Black America, starting in Chicago. I do not associate with hardened criminals, urban terrorists, off-code Negroes, pedophiles, active gang members, nor con artists would be allowed in my organization. This is membership based. Once we get our film project fully funded and made and have a place of business on the west side of Chicago, then we will conduct mandatory orientations. Everyone who is serious about becoming a member of Grecaio Chicago must sign a community pledge, pass our criminal background check, and submit their thumbprint. In time, we will offer a second chance program for ex-offenders of nonviolent crimes, former gang members, and homeless individuals within the community. Truth be told, Black people were doing much better under Jim Crow. All of this dysfunction started after social integration and cultural assimilation. When we call out the dysfunction in our community, then Black people start reflecting and blaming others. We should never excuse the violence in our community. Dr. Chancellor Williams wrote the book, quote, The Destruction of Black Civilization, unquote. He said a man cannot reach racial worth and identity without knowing his culture. The educational system, the political system, and the financial system keeps us at a disadvantage. This is how Black America has been programmed because many of us still work for the man. The only end game for Black America is for us to have our own land, and that's what I've been trying to do for the past 30 years. Africa is the Black Mecca. We see the constant decline in morality in America. I encourage my listeners to watch this video clip entitled Employee Killed at Atlanta Subway Over Too Much Mayonnaise. on sandwich. Two black women were shot by a black man. One of the women died in front of her son over senseless violence. We're quick to separate from black people, but we won't separate our black dollars from white supremacy. How slave minded is that? Mental slavery gives you the illusion of freedom. It makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressor while making enemies of those who are trying to help you. Why black Americans don't take that same energy and apply it to white supremacy. Think about the things that we have been doing and the things we need to do in order to help get the ball rolling. Please leave a public comment about my Facebook page and on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. The fourth topic, Black America is not interested in solutions. When I did street ministry back in the early 90s, black people kept asking me, what are the solutions to solve our problems in America? I told them we had Malcolm X, Cynthia McKinney, Patrice Lumumba, John Henry Clark, Marcus Garvey, etc. All of these people have given a solution, but black America did not want to listen. I kept it simple. I encourage black people to purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan for Black America, then work with me to turn the vision into a reality, starting in Chicago. Once we get our Christian business up and running, then I encourage our members to get their passports and come with us during our African and Caribbean tours so that we can build an international alliance with Africa, the Caribbean, and Brazil. Working with other like-minded black people and looking for opportunities outside of America is a win-win for the diaspora and continental Africans because Black Americans as a collective have a trillion-dollar spending power that would help improve the African economy. Those nations who would receive us. We will visit 10 African nations with people from my African group, Rakai of Africa. Those who reside in South Africa, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Angola, Nigeria, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Uganda. It will give our members an idea about which African nations they would want to apply for dual citizenship. We plan on matching black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs and black artists with African artists. Through this business, we will do international trade among our members and others. This will help improve our inner cities and improve the African slums. I try to encourage black people to use leverage with these career politicians during the 2020 elections. I warned black people about Biden's track record. They rejected my advice and now look at the mess Black America is in. Black people who tried to come up with solutions for the black masses like me and others, y'all refused to support us. I wrote the vision and made it plain in my revised book. My book has been on Amazon for 10 years, yet it's still not on the bestsellers list. We can't save everyone. Many of our people are full of Willie Lynch. I'm trying to reach the youth, those who are between 18 and 35. This organization is for you and your children's children. I only want to build with other like-minded black people, African people, Afro-Caribbean people, Brazilian people, and non-black sympathizers. The amount of black youth who are being murdered on a weekly basis is out of control, and this is unacceptable. We're going into a recession. You have food and gas prices on the rise. I truly believe that many black people are politically remedial. Many don't understand anything about politics. In Rakai, Chicago, we will educate our members and students about politics. When black Americans were fighting for civil rights in America, that influenced African nations to demand independence from European nations. The financial elite selected which black immigrants can enter into America. Notice they won't allow people like Julius Malema. They also use the Boule class to help keep us divided. The mainstream media's job is to present negative images and stereotypes about black Americans. That's why we have to support programs like mine over here. We want to reclaim the narrative. Everyone knows about the Harlem Renaissance, but very few know about the Black Chicago Renaissance. The Nixon administration said the problem in America is black people. We have to target them without them knowing. It's not a coincidence that after the civil rights era, the American government created war on poverty, which was coded for war on the black family. Then they created the war on drugs, which gave rise to mass incarceration. Joe Biden's 94 crime bill. During that time, the financial elites relocated their manufacturing companies to places like Mexico and China under the North American Free Trade Agreement. That's known as NAFTA. Then the financial elite flooded the black ghettos with drugs, guns, and liquor stores. In my revised book, I call it Perfect Genocide. There was a rise in black exploitation films like Superfly and The Mac. American Gangster helped glorify drug lords like Frank Lucas, Nicky Barnes, and Bumpy Johnson. He was allowed to smuggle heroin into the United States using the coffins of fallen soldiers. Black American youth view these criminals as heroes. Yet for 30 years, online and offline, I've been doing my best to try to find brave and smart black people in my city and beyond to work with me in turning my vision and plan into a reality so that we can create legitimate jobs for black youth, provide programs and services for black mothers and black fathers, but I am seen as a joke. In my business, I promise my members that they will never have to endure such foolishness that I had to experience just for trying to do something positive in the black community, because we will have our support systems in place. Anyone who tries to change our focus will get 2 warnings. The third time, that person or person will be placed on our Judas list along with their photo and home address, and they will be barred for life. This is how I get down. In my business, we are going to use a 21st century solutions to solve our social problems, beginning in Chicago. Once Chicago is up and running in Chicago, we will declare war on this Willie Lynch mentality within our racial group. My revised book is the foundation of my business. Please leave a public comment about on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our 5th topic, building a 21st century coalition between Black America and the global African family through GCAM. My goal for creating the grassroots community activist movement was to connect with brave and smart black people, African people, Afro-Caribbean people, Brazilian people, and non-black sympathizers. We will focus our attention on 2 fronts: a domestic front focusing on solving black issues in America, and on an international front focusing on solving American issues, solving African issues. The time has come to move my virtual Christian socialist organization from behind a computer into the black community, starting in Chicago. Through GCAM, it's my hope to connect DAS, descendants of American slaves, with continental Africans so that we can use our talents and skills to build up Africa. We have black people throughout the world who are going to be no good to the black race no matter where they are. Many of them have a pro-white, anti-black disposition. Over here, if you have a pro-white, anti-black disposition, then you are not welcome. Many black youth have no idea about Random 46 or Benign Neglect Monahan Report because they don't read things like this. The financial elites were concerned about black Americans returning back to Africa because They were afraid that they that we were going to mess up things over there for them. When I asked my college peers to come with me to the hood so that we can start our own business to help black families and black youth, they avoid me at all costs. Middle class blacks and upper class blacks are disconnected from the inner cities. This is why I created GRCAM, to have a network of professional blacks who are investors, real estate developers, and engineers. They can help us create more black businesses, and this will help improve the black community. I also want to do international trade with people from my African group, Kakai of Africa. As of now, our youth have to compete with illegal immigrants, Afghan refugees, Ukrainian refugees, Asians, white women, and the LGBT for resources. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group in America. The Grassroots Community Activist Movement is an interactive virtual Christian socialist organization using my Christian groups and secular groups to network on a global level. CAM is a revolutionary 21st century kingdom building, global black unity, and black economic empowerment in order to solve our social problems within the black community and throughout the African diaspora and eventually on the African continent, God willing. CAM is a virtual Christian socialist organization. For me, Christian socialism is an authentic form of Christianity. A Christian socialist is a form of socialism based on the teachings of Jesus. Many Christian socialists believe that capitalism is idolatrous and rooted in greed, social inequality, and institutionalized racism, which most Christian denominations consider a moral sin. We will focus on what we stand for: love, compassion, social justice, and liberation theology. Jesus told us to focus on the least of these in society according to Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 through 40. He also commanded us to be a witness to others, not just for us to read his word, but to activate social change in the world, according to Matthew chapter 28, verses 16 through 20. We will be committed to the healing ministry of Jesus by showing compassion to inner city youth and their families, which will promote dignity to the people and community we serve. We will emphasize the importance of morals and character development for both Christians and non-Christians. We will also focus on strengthening the black family and focusing on solving black issues by promoting black economic empowerment. I am called by Jesus/Yahshua to move beyond the four walls of the church and make an impact in the black community through our Christian business. The Kai of Chicago is more than just a new business endeavor. It's a new system that must be taught. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago is based on my experience. We will not focus on black celebrities, but rather ordinary black law-abiding citizens by providing affordable rental space, production studios, and office suites, educational services, financial resources, and dedicated community mentors. The Chicago will have 7 components under one roof. They are as follows: social service component, spiritual component, which will be optional for secular people, entertainment component, entrepreneur component, political component, health and wellness component, a black media component, the new black voices of media. Under the for-profit service-based sector, we will offer state-of-the-art recreational center that will offer bowling, high ropes, adventure courses, captivating game game rooms featuring the latest video and amusement, stylish billboards, energetic dance rooms, and high quality restaurants, various businesses, on-site child care, and an on-site music recording studio for our students making documentary films and stage plays. In addition, we will host family fun activities including combination deals, birthday party, weddings, and corporate parties and events. Under the nonprofit cooperative, Gurkai of Chicago will be governed by an advisory board. Gurkai of Chicago will be membership based and operate for the mutual benefit of our members. Also, any earnings we make are returned to our members in the forms of lower prices through our quality programs and services. Our focus is on providing quality goods and services to the low-income African American community and working directly with Black families that want to utilize our services. We want to make Chicago a model city before we expand to other cities, God's willing. Chicago will function in the area of community grocery stores, community health care, and community housing. Please leave a public comment on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, please share this podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you for your time for listening to this, my presentation. I'm going to open up the virtual phone lines. You can connect with me through Facebook Messenger. I'm going to wait around for about 15 minutes. If I don't hear from anyone, then we're going to call it a day. So thank you all for listening. Again, the whole purpose of me doing these video podcasts is to try to raise funds for our film project. I refuse to sit up here and just watch our children die left and right. I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm praying to the Lord. I want my Christian friends to just be in agreement with me. I don't want to be doing this another 30 years. But again, it takes capital, you know what I'm saying, to start a business. You know, I'm paying out of pocket for the business title. That's not even cool. But again, you know, I mean, yes, you know, I want to do something. I want to build something. But I want brave and smart people on my team to help me run this thing and help me manage this. I can't do all this stuff myself. I have a Nehemiah assignment. But I just thank the Lord for perseverance. But again, once we get this organization up and running in Chicago, I'm going to turn it over to qualified Black middle class professionals. And before I cut and run to Africa, I just want to make sure I'm going to be able to sustain myself in Africa. So that's how come when we visit Africa and stuff like that, I want to make sure that, you know, we build those professional business relationships with people from my African group. And my African group, y'all got to step up too. You know, we're coming from another country, you know what I'm saying? We don't know anybody in Africa, you know, on the ground. So, yes, you know, we all just talking on the computer, that's fine. But, you know, again, we're trying to take this to the next level. That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm grateful for this technology. But, again, I don't want to hide behind the computer. And that's the whole purpose for me trying to do the film. Because I want people to see me in action in terms of moving from behind the computer. I'm grateful. And I want people to understand this is where we came from. I'm documenting. That's how come I do this show. I'm doing this to document what I'm trying to do and get my message out there. So you all have to do your part too. Those that's not interested in what I'm talking about, please delete me off your friends list. You're taking up space. I'd rather have 100 people on my friends list that's going to be down with the helping turn this thing into a reality than 1,000 people in that's not doing anything. And again, if you're not able to come on the show, please leave comments in the comment section. Then you can still do that. You can do that anytime. But I'm mindful. I know people got lives. You have to balance work and family. Maybe some of you are in college and things like that. So I'm mindful. And again, even if you're not able to come on the show when I'm on here, please just leave a comment. When you're able. When you have free time. But again, this is very serious. And I'm not affiliated with anyone. This organization is independent. I'm nobody's puppet. I'm just trying to do the best that I can to help our brothers and sisters that's trapped in American ghettos, trying to give back to my old former community. And I want to take this organization, I want to take my talents and skills to the continent and work with Africans that want more out of life. That's all I'm trying to do. And to build this international alliance so that way that's going to help us improve our inner cities. And it's going to help Africa improve those that's in the African slums. But I have to have our brothers and sisters that went to college, that got some skills to be on my management team to help me run this thing. And yes, I will pay, but right now I'm on a shoestring budget. That's why I'm trying to do the film project, trying to raise capital for that funding. And so the proceeds from the film, that's going to help me be able to be in a position to hire my staff. You see what I'm saying? So, you work with me and I'll work with you. All right? With that being said, phone lines are now open.